as a boxer?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And listen, what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys.
Yes.
He's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever. But listen, say what you want, he wins. And he makes money. So he's doing his thing, you know.
Champions of the past, we have world champions of the present. Marissa Shields in the building.
Joe Rogan just exposed Jake Paul, the man who built an empire on cringe-worthy pranks and somehow stumbled into boxing. From day one, Jake has been shouting into the void, begging anyone for attention. He called out Conor McGregor like McGregor owed him money, then went after Sean Strickland. When those didn't work out, Jake discovered the art of
Jake Paul, it's clear to me you are desperate for a reality check. You know what? If I made my money impressing 4-year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multimillionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out of you. This is the hardest sport in the world, and people dedicate their lives to this, and most of them never get a payday. It never pays off for the majority of fighters, who would fuck you.
Picking fights. Now it seems like Jake's latest complaints revolve around avoiding real competition in favor of drama. This time, it's all about his fight with Mike, which didn't go as smoothly as he expected. And let's not forget his dramatic reaction to Andrew Tate's fight offer, which Jake handled with all the maturity of a spoiled teenager being told to clean his...
I'm one of the lucky ones. I made a little bit of money. I don't have 50 million to bet with you, but I do have 3 million to bet with you. So this is your offer. $3 million. You put 3, I put 3. Winner takes all. I'm 5 years out the ring. I'm a kickball...
room. Joe Rogan left fans questioning whether Jake Paul, the self-proclaimed boxing prodigy, is more interested in making headlines than actually fighting legitimate opponents. The latest...
Joe Rogan left everyone questioning whether the self-proclaimed boxing prodigy is more interested in boxing or in avoiding actual competition. This time, the controversy surrounds Jake's refusal to fight Andrew Tate, despite Tate's public challenge and a $3 million bet on the line. It's a move that not only raised eyebrows but also sent social media into a frenzy.
Tired MMA fighters with zero boxing experience and celebrities with no business in the ring. His matchups have always followed a familiar script: guarantee pay-per-view sales and a high chance of victory. But when Andrew Tate, a former kickboxing world champion and one of the most polarizing figures on the internet, challenged him to a fight, Jake's response, or lack of one, spoke volumes. It's a move that raises more questions than answers about Jake's true intentions in the boxing world. Andrew Tate's challenge to Jake Paul wasn't subtle. He didn't just call Jake out. He taunted him with a substantial...
If you want to fight and you want to send a contract, send one to me. I will take a few weeks break from living my retired life to kick the living out of a goofy, entitled dickhead like you.
$3 million bet and an open-ended offer to fight anytime, anywhere. Tate's bold and calculated move perfectly aligned with his unapologetically brash persona. Yet, instead of stepping up, Jake turned his back on the opportunity, opting to avoid the ring altogether. Joe Rogan, never one to mince words, pointed out the glaringly obvious: Jake only fights when he can control the odds, and a bout with Tate comes without a script. Jake's pivot away from Tate came in the form of a proposed fight with the legendary Mike Tyson.
Come on, fight!
At first glance, it seemed like a boxing fan's dream matchup. But a closer look reveals a calculated move designed to minimize risk. Tyson, now 57 years old and past his prime, may bring ticket sales, but the fight offers none of the unpredictability or real challenge that a fight with Andrew Tate would. Rogan didn't hold back in dissecting Jake's strategy, calling it a masterclass in avoiding credible threats. What makes this situation even more damning is Jake's silence in the face of his critics. Instead of addressing the accusations head-on, he has remained conspicuously quiet.
Do that though. He knows. He knows way.
One, he's under contract. And
he's
two,
not his own boss.
And two, he won't do it. He knows better. He might
And it's
say,
funny to say, like, yo, Conor McGregor is scared of Jake Paul and will never box.
Further fueling doubts about his willingness to face genuine competition. Joe Rogan was more than willing to speak out on Jake Paul's behalf, noting how Jake has consistently dodged younger competitive fighters in favor of safer, more marketable options. The decision to fight Mike Tyson, a retired heavyweight, instead of Andrew Tate, a fighter still in peak physical condition, perfectly encapsulated Jake's approach to his so-called boxing career. Tate, for his part, didn't let Jake...
Somebody like me, he'd mentioned me before, and there'll be people out there saying, oh, Carl Froch's talking about himself, he's after a payday. Listen, I'm not after a payday. I'm doing all right. There's no problems with my fight.
Rejection slide. He doubled down on his challenge, calling out Jake's fear and exposing the cracks in his tough guy persona. For someone who thrives on bravado and dominance, Jake's hesitation to face Tate reveals a vulnerability that even his most loyal fans can't ignore. The backlash on social media was swift and brutal, with fans and critics alike labeling Jake a coward for ducking what could have been a career-defining fight. Rogan's commentary didn't stop at Jake's avoidance tactics. He also criticized the broader pattern of Jake's career, describing it as a series of mismatched fights designed to pad his record rather than test his skills. Whether it's retired athletes or inexperienced fighters, Jake's opponents have all shared one thing in common. They were never a real threat. Rogan's blunt assessment exposed Jake's strategy as a thinly veiled attempt to maintain marketability while avoiding genuine competition. The most glaring issue in all of this is Jake Paul's...
All is accomplished is he's fighting old guys.
Yes.
He's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever. But listen, say what you want, he wins. And he makes money. So he's doing his thing.
Unwillingness to engage with fighters who could actually challenge him. Fighting Andrew Tate would have been an opportunity to silence his critics and prove he's more than just a YouTuber playing boxer. Instead, his avoidance has only added fuel to the fire, reinforcing the narrative that Jake is more interested in showmanship than true competition. Joe Rogan's analysis left no room for doubt. Jake's decision to dodge Tate was about control, not courage. Even Jake's supporters are starting to question his motives. A fight with Mike Tyson might draw headlines, but it does little to advance Jake's credibility as a fighter. For someone claiming to revolutionize boxing, Jake's actions suggest he's more focused on preserving his image than earning respect in the ring. Rogan's critique struck a chord with fans who are tired of the spectacle and crave genuine competition. Meanwhile, Andrew Tate has emerged as a wild card in this saga. His relentless pursuit of a fight with Jake has not only kept the story alive, but also highlighted the stark contrast between the two fighters. While Jake thrives in controlled environments and calculated risks, Tate thrives on unpredictability and real challenges.
Tate wouldn't just be risky. It would be a direct threat to the carefully crafted persona Jake has built.
Is so hesitant to accept
Rogan's commentary
Andrew
didn't
Tate's
just expose Jake's strategy.
Fighting
it
Tate
also
wouldn't
raised
just
broader
be risky.
questions about the state
It
of boxing
would
as
be
a sport.
direct threat to the
In an era
carefully
where hype
crafted
often trumps
persona
substance,
Jake
Jake
has
Paul
built.
has become the poster
Joe
child
Rogan's
for
commentary
style over
didn't
substance.
just expose Jake's strategy, it raised broader questions about the state of boxing, where hype often trumps substance. Jake Paul has become the poster child for style over substance. Rogan's critique serves as a reminder that true fighters don't shy away from challenges. They embrace them. Jake's reluctance...
That's delusion. That's delusion. I'm sorry.
beef.
Look, Andrew, fighter, legitimate, badass motherfucker,
Yeah.
strong mentality. I'm sorry, Tristan Tate is the weak link.
I say let's
He
run
got a bad shoulder. He's shaped like a gingerbread man. I don't want no beef, but that's delusion.
PFO will set this up.
Uh-oh.
A MMA double tag team match.
10 million for everybody.
You might have a fight on your...
To fight Tate speaks louder than any press release or social media post ever could. The fallout from this saga has left Jake's reputation in tatters. His refusal to fight Andrew Tate, combined with his decision to face a retired Mike Tyson, has cemented the perception that Jake is more interested in playing the role of a fighter than actually being one. Rogan's insights have only amplified this sentiment, leaving fans and critics questioning whether Jake Paul will ever step up and prove himself in a fight that isn't scripted from the start. For now, it seems the only thing Jake is fighting for is the illusion of being a legitimate boxer, rather than genuinely testing himself in the ring against real competition. Jake Paul's decision to dodge Andrew Tate's challenge didn't just bruise his reputation, it obliterated it. For years, Jake has marketed himself as a fearless warrior in the ring, but this fiasco peeled back the facade, revealing a businessman who prioritizes paychecks over proving his worth. Fans aren't buying it anymore. The
Two brothers, one cage. Jake Logan, you Tristan. Who comes out alive?
You know what? I'm trying so hard to not start internet beefs. I'm really trying not to.
You could say Jake and Logan, man.
Bro,
Don't worry about it.
No, I can't lie. Bro, I'm going through life. I'm trying to live peacefully.
The image of Jake as a daring competitor is gone, replaced by a guy who picks fights like he's choosing items off a fast food menu. Only the safest, most marketable options. It's not that Jake can't fight, he clearly can. The problem is he won't fight anyone who poses a real threat. Andrew Tate threw down the gauntlet, complete with a $3 million bet and a no-excuses call-out. But instead of stepping up, Jake stepped away, leaving everyone wondering if his boxing career is more PR stunt than athletic endeavor. Joe Rogan didn't mince words, pointing out the obvious. Jake doesn't want a challenge, he wants a sure thing. Then there's Jake's next move, teasing a fight with the 57-year-old Mike Tyson. Sure, Tyson's a legend, but let's be real, he's well past his prime. Jake knows Tyson's name, guarantees headlines, but it doesn't challenge him. Jake Paul's refusal to fight Andrew Tate has exposed his strategy. Low risk, high reward. A win over a retired heavyweight like Tyson adds to Jake's highlight reel without exposing his weaknesses. Joe Rogan didn't hold back, calling Jake out for dodging young, dangerous opponents like Tate while clinging to safe bets. Meanwhile, Andrew Tate has been relentless, using every opportunity to call Jake a coward and mock his refusal to fight. And honestly, Tate's not wrong. For someone who thrives on controversy and confidence, Jake's silence speaks volumes. Instead of addressing Tate's challenge, he's pretending the offer doesn't exist. Social media isn't letting Jake off the hook either. Fans are tearing into him, accusing him of hiding behind his brand and avoiding any fight that could tarnish his carefully curated record. The real question now is, where does Jake go from here? He can't keep dodging fighters like Tate without completely tanking his credibility. Rogan made it clear, Jake's reputation is hanging by a thread. If he continues dodging real competition and staging glorified exhibitions, his brand will crumble.